Good morning. It is May 25th, 2020, Memorial Day in the United States, a few days after our Queen Victoria birthday in Canada. Today I'm looking at the memorial being in memory of, and initially it was relating back to the war veterans and to people that have lost their lives in service of the country. But we also have a lot of memory of just this year alone as being a standout year in our minds and our hearts, because so many people have lost someone they knew, or they're in a state where they have no security about what their future is going to be. So it's kind of feeling like in a war zone or in a cocoon of hiding out, trying to figure out the simplicity and the growth and the inner workings of our family and those closest to us, and also what is our occupation going to be? Is that going to survive? Are we going to have to recreate ourselves from the inside out? And we've been talking about a lot on these videos, but one of the things that I was realizing is that there is a renewal of some kind of innocence, some kind of rebirth. As the butterfly comes out of the cocoon, it's a new thing, it's a new creature, it's experiencing the world with wings, it's able to fly and land and explore, short as its lifespan may be in terms of its life. It is a pretty expansive existence after being in the cocoon for so long. I don't know if there's the memory of where it came from or not. But with us, there is the memory of where we came from. There is the understanding that we have been locked in, so to speak, and also had to look at some parts of ourselves or those with whom we have relationship through new lens of life. And so there have been people that have grown closer, families that have rediscovered new and more simplistic ways to coexist, and there have been other families who have really had some amazingly intensified experiences through being on top of each other like that. So I was thinking about innocence. I was thinking, there's a card that I got in the Mother Mary deck was Our Lady of Innocence. And this is the card that I got for as we were emerging out of the cocoon, which is this week. And I realized that when we're first born, there is a deep innocence to us. We're looking at everything in wonder, every voice, every picture, every color, every shape. It's with wonder, authenticity, and sheer raw innocence. There's no impression on the mind of what something is, so it's a more of an experiential existence. And then slowly, over time, we start to take on the attributes of those around us, the belief systems of those around us, the indoctrination of those around us. And we start to choose a certain type of behavior in accordance with what will be pleasing or displeasing to those with whom we live. Joshua, come here. Come here, Joshua. I've always got one of them in here making noise. So if we look at our life and we think about our life coming out of this cocoon, and we realize that the child from even the first 6 months is learning how often, or 2 months or 1 month, how much it can cry, how long it will take for the mother to get there, and how much unpleasantness it can stand, and what is the it's already learning its own form of manipulation. But it's also being indoctrinated by good girl, good boy, bad boy, at the same time. So what our innocence is now is that we've reached this period in our life. Krishnamurti calls it about the first 30 years of our life, we are under the heavy weight of indoctrination. So often we choose our education because of the indoctrination we've received. We choose the pathway in life that would please others, or that we think would please others. We may have a secret longing in our heart to do something entirely different, but if we've been brought up under a heavy yoke of expectation or indoctrination, then we're inclined to make choices that might not be fully authentic and fully aligned with the true soulful longings of our heart. As we reach our 30s, 40s, this all starts to rear its head, and we either push it down and keep on doing what we're doing, happy or not, just kind of going through the motions of what is expected, or we go through a midlife crisis of realignment and readjustment, and is this really what I want? Am I in a marriage that is suiting my soul? Am I with a company or a job or a pathway of my gifts that is suited to my soul? They say metaphysically that at age 45 we start a new life, that the first 45 years are one segment of our life, and that when we hit age 45 we start a new 45-year period of our life. So when we look at what they call the destiny cards, age 45 would be correlated to age 1, age 46 to 2, age 47 to age 3. And so we're redoing our life at another level of life experience and being, but we are re-experiencing much of what we went through in the very early years, and as it grows and grows and goes, so around age 40, we're experiencing that around age 45 plus 40 would be 85. There's another thing with the destiny cards where they speak of age 52 as being a very, very important year in your life. It's a year where you either expand and open up to life. The children have left home ostensibly, and you and your mate or you alone are starting a new phase of your existence. And it's at that age, if you have expanded and done re-examination of your own being and spiritually grown, that your life could take a whole new direction, and you could actually have another whole life starting around age 52. For me, that was the year that I became metaphysically devoted 100% to a new pathway. I had been before that in many other fields of endeavor. I had had my own business consulting firm, doing startup capital for companies and writing business plans. Then I had gone into the art world. I had ridden horses, trained horses with my daughter, and we had shown those horses and sold them. I'd done many fields of experience. Age 52, 51, around that age was the age that I made a huge shift and started to write an astrology column for a very well-known magazine. I started to give readings. That was my sole livelihood. And also studied healing and became a healer, and ended up teaching healing and looking at vibrational healing at very deep levels, color, flower essences, aromatherapy, vibrational medicine in all forms, electrical machines that had specific vibration for specific illnesses. So I went very much 100% metaphysical, and then went through a lot of deaths from age 44 to age, my husband died suddenly. Age 57, my second mate died. Age 44, my husband died. Age 48, my mate died. And age 57, my mate died. and then 2 children after that. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because those things, instead of defeating my existence, enlarged my spiritual growth and enlarged my experience of the other worlds, because I was so longing to connect to those mates, and I was so longing to connect to my daughter and to my stepson, that I deeply focused on the inner worlds and meditating and listening and developing profound psychic abilities that had been innate within me, used in other ways, and now were in full form. So I'm saying this because everyone right now is thinking, well, what can I do? I can't redo my life. Well, I can tell you at age 52, I had $50 to my name. I was living with my daughter and her boyfriend, and I was had this huge metaphysical experience, and I was sent to Venice Beach to sit on Venice Beach, of all places, after being in the art world in Europe at the table of princes and dukes and earls. All of a sudden, here I was on Venice Beach with $50 to my name, sent there by a North American Indian who was Edgar Casey's successor, an old East Cherokee Indian, and answering questions that I had no idea where the answers were coming from within me. So we can remake our lives at any age. Don't give up. If you've lost someone through death, don't give up. If you're still here, there's a reason you're still here. And all of this suffering or loss or shift, there's purpose. And each of us must uncover our own individual purpose in order to expand and to recreate our existence from the bottom up. So I got remarried at age 60. At age 61, I became an artist, a photographic artist. And now that's one of the main things that I do. 2 to 3 hours a day I work with my artworks and do the healing work, the metaphysical work, the spiritual counseling, readings, mediumship readings of anybody that around you that has passed that you wish to be in contact with. And I really and truly, I love doing those, probably the most. But because they relieve so much pain and suffering and feeling of an illusion of separation from that person that has left their body. So your life can be it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to build the new life. You're going to have to start maybe small, maybe bigger. Maybe you already have things set aside that are fantastic that you've never brought out that you could now use and express, and your heart will be happier than it's ever been in your entire existence. I know that the work that I do, well, I've never worked for someone in my life, so the work that I've always done in my life has always been out of choice and has always been very exciting and satisfying and on my own terms. But I have to say that right now, my life of the work that I have now is the happiest, most joyful. I don't make millions, but I do have enough to keep everybody going and all the critters looked after. And just month by month, I never know where the next month's going to come from, but it always does. God always looks out for us, and the spiritual realms have been most benevolent and helpful to me. So I wish to encourage you as you pray. A beautiful prayer is, God, really help me to uncover the deepest, truest, most authentic parts of myself, my true gifts that I have gathered and developed over lifetimes, and let me bring those forth as a way of serving humanity. I'm bringing those gifts forward not to be thought of as good or pure or angelic or merciful, but because I know at some deep level of myself, I'm adding unto the greater good. You could add unto the greater good in your life in the most phenomenal ways if you just listen within to what are the gifts that you feel you still could develop, or the new roads that you could take using the gifts you've already developed. If you're happy doing what you've already done, just shift it. The people that live with the least stress are people that have learned to be adaptable. Adaptability is a great thing to learn. And often you see people that have grown up in very, very large families. They've learned adaptability because nobody was there catering to them as the one and only. And if you get further and further down the line of where you're born in a family, that your siblings are assisting to raise you as much as your parents in the very large families. So adaptability right now, let go of your rigid expectations of what life has to be to make you happy. Think about your life as this wonderful kaleidoscope. And as you turn a kaleidoscope, there's new and glorious pictures coming up. And so you may be stepping into a new shifting around of all your gifts and all your knowledge and all your love. And it's shifting around and expressing in a different way. There may be gifts that you've developed over the years that you could now employ that you never really thought could be useful or help you make money or survive or whatever. For example, my son George, he's been growing vegetable garden. He's been studying all about the acid levels of soil. He's learned about how to plant different things that will protect the plants from having to use anything but natural fertilizers. And he's learned how to care for the leaves and how much water and what kind of soils to mix. And he's just become a soil scientist, and his plants are just enormous and so beautiful. And so I think right now, to be an organic gardener like that, to go around and set up gardens for people, that would be a wonderful occupation for somebody like my son, and probably will be something he'll take a good look at. So as you're coming out and things are not moving fast and the job that you had before is no longer there, realize there is something, and it may be something quite different, that you came here to do and offer and share for the greater good of all, but is also your unique gift. I really want you to think about it. I think about all of you. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching my channel. I hope it helps you. Do remember to subscribe if you haven't, and to like if you wish, but most of all, I love to get your comments, and do share on your Facebook page. If you'd like a personal reading where I either look at your astrology chart, your progress chart, where you are right now, what's affecting you in the heavens, or a psychic reading where I operate solely off intuition, or a mediumship reading where I become a vehicle of hearing those on the other side and we converse back and forth, or a combination reading, which is what a lot of people get. Thank you. God be with you. And remember, you can do it. You're going to do it. It's going to be exciting. Thank you. Oh, and do remember to write me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com. Thanks.